The Yellowstone franchise has become something much grander than anyone could have ever hoped to expect, mainly because it not only debuted on Paramount Network, but it was a Western, a modern-day one at that. Sure, it had Kevin Costner heading it up, but that wasn't a guarantee of success. However, the show was not only so good, it's gotten multiple seasons, but it also got a spin-off in 1883 that tells the tale of how the Dutton family got the land that they now reside on. And in its finale, a very chilling premonition was given that warns of what's coming. So allow us to show you what the 1883 finale tells us about Yellowstone Season 5 and beyond. Number 5. The 1883 finale. The most important moment from the finale of 1883 was easy to dismiss amid the bloodshed, amputation, tears, and tragedy. It was a line of dialogue delivered by a veteran actor appearing on the show for the first time. Graham Greene played Spotted Eagle, a Crow elder who tries to heal Elsa Dutton's, Isabel May, wounds. If you watched the February 27th episode, you know how that worked out. No spoilers, I promise. Now, central to his exchange with the Dutton family is the conversation he has had with James Dutton, as played by Tim McGraw. The family patriarch makes it known he's urgently looking for a place to rest, and Spotted Eagle points him toward Paradise Valley, where Yellowstone fans know John Dutton, Kevin Costner, and company ultimately reside. The favor comes with a caveat, however. In 7 generations, my people will rise up and take it back from you, Spotted Eagle says. Dutton says that in 7 generations, he'll gladly give it back, but how far away are we from meeting the 7th generation? Or have we met him or her? Number 4. The answer from the creator. Fortunately, we have an answer. Creator Taylor Sheridan addressed the topic during the Road West behind-the-scenes episode that aired in January. According to Sheridan, James Dutton is John Dutton's great-great-great-grandfather. Now, some people want to debate this. This seems like debating if Tony Soprano died with David Chase, but you do you. We'll take his word for it. The source of this confusion is that there are 2 separate characters named John Dutton Sr. Audie Rick's character and Dabney Coleman's character are not the same person. The following pictorial explanation reframes what Casey Dutton saw during his Season 4 ending vision quest. The Dutton son said he saw the end of us, and many thought that meant the end of him and Monica. It's now clear that he holds the answers to a larger question. Number 3. The Dutton Generations. The relationship between John Dutton on Yellowstone and James Dutton on 1883 was mostly a bar argument until a very pivotal line of dialogue from episode 10 of the Tim McGraw Show. Suddenly, fans wanted to know who the 7th generation Dutton is. So, let's spell out this family tree, shall we? James Dutton is played by Tim McGraw. Per Yellowstone and 1883 creator Taylor Sheridan, in the Road West special, he is the great-great-great-grandfather to John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner. Quickly, it all gets confusing. During 1883, 5-year-old John Dutton Sr. is played by Audie Rick. During Season 4 of Yellowstone, flashback scenes, he's played by an actor named Jack Michael Doak. He's not senior yet in either show as he's yet to father a child, but his character is consistently listed as such. John Dutton Sr. is a great-great-grandfather to John Dutton Costner. Important to remember is that this John Dutton Sr. was born in about 1878. Viewers have not met John Dutton Jr. yet. His existence is only known through his father being identified as Sr. It's likely both Jr. and Sr. play a large role in the upcoming Yellowstone origin story, 1932. That show is set for 2023. John Dutton Jr. is a great-grandfather to John Dutton Costner. Now we're headed down a real rabbit hole. This child would be John Dutton's, Costner's, grandfather. We don't know his name, but it's not John Dutton III. If that were the case, his ancestors wouldn't be Sr. and Jr., but John Dutton I and John Dutton II. It's possible we'll meet him during 1932 as well, but he'd be very young. The son of John Dutton Jr. would be grandfather to John Dutton Costner. Here is the source of all the confusion. During episode 10 of Season 2 of Yellowstone, a flashback found Dabney Coleman starring, per the show's credits, as John Dutton Sr., John Dutton Costner's father. He dies during that flashback, which is loosely set in the year 2000, give or take a few years. If Coleman's John Sr. was the same as Audi Rick's John Sr., then the man you see pictured here would have to have been about 122 years old, 6 years older than any man has ever lived. The only explanation is there are two men named John Dutton Sr., born 2 generations apart. Not entirely uncommon, though obviously this was a bit confusing when people tried to piece it all together. Kevin Costner's John Dutton is the 6th generation Dutton. It's interesting that he's never listed as John Dutton Jr., as you'd expect given his father is senior. Is it just an oversight, or did he have a brother at some point? John Dutton's, Costner's, biological son is Casey Dutton, and he, alongside with sister Beth, is the 7th generation that Spotted Eagle warns about talking to James Dutton McGraw during the finale of 1883. It now seems clear that when Casey says he sees the end of us during the finale of Season 4 of Yellowstone, he's referring to this promise made by a Crow elder. It's also clear that Yellowstone has more seasons filmed than it does in its future. Number 2, rising up. So that is where the key question comes in, because if the prophecy of Spotted Eagle is to come true, then sooner or later his people will come for the Duttons and the land. But what exactly does that mean? After all, Casey and his sister Beth are both very much adults now, so you'd likely have expected the prophecy to come true by this point, right? But perhaps there is something else in the way. After all, we have seen the Duttons fight for their land multiple times over the course of 4 seasons, including the family almost being wiped out by an old enemy of theirs. Just as important though, the times are very much changed. 1883 is very different from what 2022 is right now. So rising up could mean many different things, such as a legal battle for land. If there was a formal agreement in place and the Duttons knew about it or they found out about it, that could throw a monkey wrench into, well, everything. Don't forget James Dutton agreed to give back the land to Spotted Eagle's descendants' people. That is an agreement in every sense of the word. How will that get proven? Well, that's up for debate, as we haven't had any inkling of an uprising for the land as of yet. But we do know the reservation near the Duttons' land is full of key characters, and if one of them learns the truth about the land deal, the relationship is going to be very different. Number 1, fight for what's yours. Going back to the Vision quest, one could interpret the end of us meaning many things. It could be the end of their time at their ranch on Yellowstone, or it could mean a very literal interpretation. After all, Yellowstone isn't about showing violence and putting characters in the ground for one reason or another. So what if the finale of Yellowstone, whatever and whenever that may be, comes down to a firefight at the ranch, with Dutton and his family doing all they can to protect against an uprising of Spotted Eagle's people? It'd certainly be an interesting way for the series to end, with the Duttons falling one by one as their land is overtaken by the promise made so long ago. Then again, it could have a more peaceful resolution. It could be that the Duttons willingly give over their land and then continue the cycle started by James and set out for a new life on a new piece of land to try and rebuild their family name and legacy. The show is so deep that it could go either way, and that is what's exciting. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at 1883 and what it all means for Yellowstone as a series? Do you think that this is indeed a foreshadowing of all that is going to happen and what may be the likely end of the Dutton family? Or do you think, as these shows have already proven, that there are a few more twists along the way? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.